It's exciting. You know, Terence is freakishly strong. He can punch. He's got good crack. He can fight from both ways. Orthodox southpaw. He can fight at mid-range, close range, outside, and he can fight going both ways. So.
The boxing world is closely watching Terence Crawford's next bout with Canelo as he pursues his goals. One of the most anticipated fights in recent memory is Alvarez in September 2025. Although many people consider Crawford to be the underdog because of his height, many boxing experts think he can win.
I think that Crawford could beat him because Crawford is a big 147 fighter and is strong as well, which a lot of people don't give him the credit for.
Even though Canelo is a natural super middleweight and Crawford began his career in a much lesser weight class, boxing experts, particularly professionals who have competed at the highest level, view Crawford's expertise as the decisive element. Spence is one of those individuals who is aware of Crawford's potential for danger.
So, I'll be going for Bud, if he fight Canelo.
You got Crawford over Bud? I mean, you got Crawford over Canelo? Sorry.
I'll be going for him. I'll be going for him. I don't.
In a historic fight for the undisputed welterweight championship in July 2023, Spence faced Crawford. It was the first time the welterweight division had seen an undisputed champion during the four-belt era, and both fighters entered the fight with high expectations from fans who anticipated a fierce back-and-forth matchup. But Crawford swiftly took control when the bell rang, overwhelming Spence with his precise timing, sharp punches, and relentless pressure. By the 9th round, Crawford had stopped Spence and won all 4 welterweight titles. His performance was flawless. He not only defeated Spence, but also completely controlled him. It was one of the most remarkable feats in boxing history.
Someone I could call my friend, he's been in my house, so it's hard for me to go against my own friend. I just hope both of them come out healthy, make a lot of money, and give the fans a great fight.
When questioned about the Crawford versus Canelo fight, Spence gave Crawford his entire support, saying, "I'll be going for Bud if he fights Canelo." Spence now understands precisely what Canelo Alvarez is up against after experiencing the full impact of Crawford's skills. Spence stated on Fight Hub TV that Crawford is aiming for greatness, and that Canelo had moved up to light heavyweight to take on Sergey Kovalev and Dmitry Bivol. Spence said, "I don't know if he's going to win or lose, but I'll definitely be going for Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off." Since Canelo is striving for greatness, why couldn't Crawford step up and wait? Since Canelo started at 147 and went up to 175 to fight Kovalev and the other man Bivol as well, why can't Bud do the same? Spence asked.
If he does beat Canelo, Terence does beat Canelo, Terence does prove that he's a better fighter than Canelo. Now, whose era it was, it's kind of hard to do that for Bud because obviously Canelo was on top of the sport for much longer. He was able to get any fight that he wanted.
Although size and strength are crucial in boxing, Crawford's ambition and drive are unrivaled, which is one of the main reasons why many professionals think he can win. However, strategy and resolve may frequently tip the scales. Crawford is extremely dangerous because of his capacity for adaptation and outwitting his opponents. Though he is one of the most accomplished and successful boxers of his generation, Canelo is not an easy opponent. He has faced and defeated legendary fighters like Jen Golovkin and Sergey Kovalev, and is renowned for his powerful body punches and power shot counterattacks. Canelo might use body shots to wear down Crawford and knock him out if he doesn't remain focused.
I don't think it's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight. And Crawford's going to move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo.
The fight intensified after Canelo agreed to a 4-fight contract that would run from May 2025 to October 2026. One of those bouts will be the eagerly awaited showdown with Crawford in Las Vegas. But before that, on May 3rd, 2025 in Riyadh, Canelo will take on IBF champion William Skull, who may not be as skilled as Canelo, for the undisputed super middleweight championship. He is a dangerous fighter, though. Canelo will need to be at his best to defeat Skull and stay on course for his fight with Crawford. The Cuban-German boxer is undefeated with a 23-0 record and has held the IBF super middleweight title since last year. Skull turned pro in 2016 and began his career with a knockout victory over Gaston Dario Avalos. He has since successfully defended his title and proven to be a tough, well-rounded fighter.
Excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford.
Crawford is keeping a close eye on things and recently gave Canelo a direct message. Good luck in your next fight, Canelo. I'm looking forward to becoming a 3-time undisputed champion. Crawford has made a career out of doing the impossible, and the weight difference between him and Canelo has been a hot topic of conversation. Crawford's goal is straightforward. He wants to make history by becoming the only male boxer to hold undisputed titles in 3 weight classes. However, Canelo, who is naturally a super middleweight, competes at a level equal to light heavyweight Crawford, has recently stepped up to welterweight, so the size and strength differential could be crucial in the bout. Many fans are supporting Canelo because of this, but the professionals who have seen Crawford up close trust his abilities and willpower.
Terence is not a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? He's special. And, Canelo, he's a top-notch fighter, world-class fighter. Still on the pound-for-pound list, I'm sure towards somewhere near the top. And it's exciting. Terence is freakishly strong.
One of Crawford's best qualities is his adaptability. Against Errol Spence, he began with a southpaw stance and utilized it to manage the distance and strike clean blows. He is renowned for changing stances and adapting his game plan on the fly. Additionally, he has a good boxing IQ and can predict his opponent's tactics in advance. This flexibility and ability to plan ahead could be crucial to defeating Canelo. If Crawford isn't careful, Canelo may do exactly that. Canelo, on the other hand, is renowned for his strong counterpunches and relentless body attacks. He is an expert at wearing down his opponents over several rounds and landing a devastating shot when they are worn out.
Him and Crawford accept to fight in Saudi Arabia, the big fight. But we, as a Real season, know how is big this fight.
Mike Tyson has long been renowned for his unvarnished honesty, astute boxing acumen, and Terence Crawford isn't holding back in his battle against Canelo Alvarez. In his Candid podcast, Tyson stated unequivocally that he dislikes the fight because of the weight disparity. That fight with too much weight bothers me. Tyson expressed obvious anxiety about Crawford's potential reaction to the Canelo's inherent size. Benefit Tyson specifically brought up Crawford's previous fight with Israel Madoff, in which Crawford struggled to control Madrimov's size and ungainly style, but Crawford prevailed. Tyson thinks those same difficulties will only worsen when he enters the ring with a much more formidable and seasoned opponent. For Tyson, a boxer like Canelo, when 2 elite boxers compete at the top level, size matters a lot. It's not only about striking power, it's also about how well a smaller fighter can handle the continual pressure and physicality of a larger opponent.
Maddox, if he accepts, I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size, power and size. Now,
Tyson's major argument, though, was that Crawford would pose a significant threat to Canelo if he could somehow overcome the weight gap. Tyson made it apparent that Crawford's abilities are indisputable, stating that Canelo might be facing a beast in the ring. In other words, if the size factor isn't a significant factor in the fight, Tyson believes Crawford's skill and ferocity could outclass Canelo. Tyson's warnings about the perils of size are personal, since he has seen fighters push past height constraints in his own career, defeating numerous taller, heavier heavyweights with pure speed, power, and accuracy. Experience. But Tyson has also observed that when fighters have extraordinary skill levels, size isn't important. For this reason, he gave Crawford the opportunity to shock everyone.
I think a lot of Canelo fans, for some reason, they know that there's no excuse. If he loses to Bud, this is a huge mark on his resume. If he beats Bud, he does beat a very accomplished fighter in his era. But there's no ready-made excuses in this fight.
However, adult boxing pundit Showbiz has also been outspoken about the fight. When the contest was first announced, Showbiz was skeptical, mostly because he believed Crawford lacked Floyd Mayweather's defensive approach, which is what led to his historic victory over Canelo Alvarez in 2013. Showbiz noted that Crawford is more likely to get struck since he is more aggressive and takes chances, but Mayweather depended on evasive defense and counterpunching. According to Showbiz, this difference could give Crawford problems if Canelo lands too many clean blows.
Let me tell you what I think should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jamel Charlo already proved that.
However, Showbiz recently reversed his position after examining Canelo's performance under specific circumstances. He pointed out that Canelo has trouble when he is forced to fight while going backward, citing 2 fights in particular that stood out to Showbiz: Canelo's defeat to Floyd Mayweather and his most recent loss to Dimitri Ball. Canelo was unable to develop his rhythm or unleash his full power because Mayweather and Ball used footwork and pressure to keep him on his back foot. Showbiz now thinks Crawford might defeat Canelo with a similar tactic.
Terence Crawford, his name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance?
You know, I always say if the fight make sense.
The ability of Crawford to use a body jab in previous battles was one crucial move that the entertainment industry highlighted. Showbiz also discussed how Crawford's southpaw stance could cause issues for Canelo, who has faced southpaws before, but none of them have had any problems. Crawford has been known to land sharp jabs to his opponent's midsections, slowing them down and forcing them to lower their guard. If Crawford can land consistent body jabs early on, it could tire Canelo out and make him more vulnerable to bigger shots later in the fight. Crawford's blend of brains, strength, and speed. Crawford's ability to change positions during a battle is another tactic that can keep Canelo guessing and confused.
Canelo versus Crawford, the biggest fight in the game.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like when you're looking at Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, this is the next thing beyond that.
In a number of recent bouts, Canelo's stamina appeared to diminish after the 6th or 7th round, allowing his opponents a chance to gain the upper hand. This was another factor that Showbiz brought up. Showbiz feels that if Crawford can make it through the early rounds and avoid difficulty, he might dominate the later rounds and win by decision or even a late stoppage. Crawford, on the other hand, is known for getting stronger as the fight goes on. One thing that Tyson and the entertainment industry both agree on is that Crawford is treading carefully in this bout. The weight differential is genuine and Canelo's. Power should not be taken lightly. But Crawford has a real chance to pull off one of the greatest upsets in boxing history if he can use his cunning, athleticism, and flexibility to counter Canelo's advantages. Tyson clearly respects Crawford's heart and skill. He is aware that the fight is dangerous, but he also understands that Crawford is a unique fighter who can overcome the odds. For Showbiz, the strategy is crucial. If Crawford can stick to it and take advantage of Canelo's weaknesses, we might witness a historic night in Las Vegas.
I think he wants to make history.
It's a big fight. Well, to make history is worth doing it.
Yeah, I think he wants to.
Bob Arum, as the massive fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez gains momentum, Arum has thrown his full support behind Crawford, believing that the former undisputed welterweight champion has what it takes to dethrone the unified super middleweight king. With both fighters reportedly closing in on a deal to face off this September in Las Vegas, anticipation is running high. The legendary top-ranked promoter has long been known for his audacious and perceptive takes on boxing's biggest matchups, and his years of experience promoting Crawford have given him a unique perspective on the fighter's skills. He didn't hesitate to explain why he thinks Crawford is more than capable of pulling off an upset.
So it's a Sugar Leonard Hagler type thing. I think he can go up and shock the world, but I guess we'll see, you know.
Well, maybe, you know, I think what Crawford is looking for is Manny Pacquiao De La Hoya fight.
Crawford's uncommon and beatx fighting technique is one of the most important elements that Arum said, because Crawford had a special talent. Arum told Fight Hype that he is completely ambidextrous and a fantastic boxer-puncher. Arum highlighted how Crawford's ability to switch between orthodox and southpaw mid-fights with ease is a skill that distinguishes him from almost every other fighter in the sport today. This unpredictability has left many of his opponents perplexed and frustrated, unable to find their rhythm as Crawford controls the fight's flow. Crawford's decisive victory over Errol Spence Jr. in 2023 was largely due to this special talent.
I think Canelo wipes the floor with him. I love Crawford. I told you when Crawford and Spence that Crawford would beat the hell out of him.
In what was anticipated to be a close and fierce fight, Crawford stunned the boxing community by thoroughly demolishing Spence. Spence trained to fight a right-handed fighter, but all he saw was a southpaw. Arum pointed out that Crawford's stance switching confused Spence right away by changing angles frequently and keeping him guessing. Crawford was able to control every part of the fight and finish his opponent in a devastating manner. Arum believes that this same skill set could be a game changer if Crawford and Canelo Alvarez square off.
What do you think about Terence Crawford calling out Canelo?
You know, I don't like that fight.
Why not?
I don't like that fight. It's just too much.
Arum went one step further and compared this possible fight to the well-known 2008 fight between Manny Pacquiao and Oscar de la Hoya, in which Pacquiao jumped up 2 weight classes to take on the bigger and more seasoned de la Hoya. Many thought Pacquiao would be overpowered by de la Hoya's bulk and strength, but the Filipino legend outclassed de la Hoya entirely with his speed, footwork, and unconventional angles, forcing a stoppage. Victory Arum, who at the time promoted Pacquiao, thinks that a similar situation with Crawford is unfolding and that Canelo might become agitated by Crawford's quickness, ring IQ, and stance-switching skills in the same manner to how Pacquiao annoyed de la Hoya.
I don't want to say it's impossible for my boy Crawford, but it's one of those things where if he really wants to win against Canelo, he's going to need to do everything. You know, you're going to need to run uphill.
Interestingly, this isn't the first time Arum has praised Crawford's capacity to overcome the best. In an interview with S News, Arum even implied that if the two had fought in their prime, Crawford could have given Floyd Mayweather his first defeat. Crawford defeats Mayweather because it's unusual for him to fight a man his size. Arum clarified that Crawford's complete ambidexterity, which allows him to switch between orthodox and southpaw, is what sets him apart from most other fighters. Mayweather is renowned for his mastery of defense and capacity to counter his opponent's advantages. Would have had a difficult time adjusting to Crawford's erratic style. Crawford uses his ambidextrous style as a tactical tool to control the tempo and course of a battle, not only as a novelty.
It happened in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, you know, his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody. And
Arum's faith in Crawford comes from years of witnessing him perfect this technique, which he feels could be the secret to defeating Canelo. By continuously shifting his stance, he forces his opponents to adapt on the fly, frequently resulting in mistakes that Crawford is quick to take advantage of. In an interview with Boxing News, Shakur Stevenson, a rising boxing star and close friend of Crawford, also offered his thoughts on the possible bout. Stevenson stated that he thinks Crawford is the most qualified opponent to take on Canelo. Is it Crawford? Though he didn't sugarcoat the task's complexity, Stevenson stated, "I think it's very difficult. Canelo has the intelligence, size, and strength. It may be a very tough fight, but I believe Terence Crawford is the only person who can win."
White. I think it's very difficult. Canelo got the IQ. He got the size. He got the power, maybe. It's a very difficult fight, but I think if anybody could get it done, it's Terence Crawford.
Stevenson's remarks show a fair assessment of the circumstances. Although he believes Crawford may succeed, he is also cognizant of the difficulty Canelo poses. With a combination of ring IQ, power, and precision that few can match, Canelo has established himself as one of the most complete fighters in the sport today. Throughout his career, he has defeated a wide range of opponents, including hard-hitting brawlers, slick boxers, and everyone in between. Despite losing twice, once to Floyd Mayweather and again to Dimitri Ball, Canelo has continuously demonstrated resilience and adaptability. Although facing Crawford would present a unique challenge for him, he has plenty of experience dealing with southpaws and fighters. They enter the arena with unorthodox attire.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds.
The mental and physical chess match between these two elite fighters would definitely be an event to watch. But Crawford's ability to change stances at any time could prove to be a level of unpredictability that even Canelo hasn't experienced before. What makes this fight even more intriguing is how quickly the landscape has changed. Only a year ago, it seemed unlikely that Crawford would move up to face Canelo. But reports suggest that Saudi boxing figurehead Turki Alec has been instrumental in bringing the two sides closer to an agreement. Alil Sheikh's influence has given the potential fight new life, and what once seemed like a pipe dream now feels tantalizingly close to reality.
Bud versus Canelo, based on last fight, is a 50-50. So Canelo fights an undisputed champ, up-and-coming former champion, and an up-and-coming undefeated contender. And somehow those 3 last opponents are somehow compared to Bud's Madrimov fight?
For Crawford, this bout is the perfect chance to solidify his legacy by increasing his weight to take on Canelo is a daring and dangerous move. But if he succeeds, it might elevate Crawford to legendary status. Victorious for Canelo, a victory would further solidify his dominance and reaffirm his status as one of the all-time greats. It would place Crawford alongside fighters like Manny Pacquiao and Sugar Ray Leonard, who dared to take on seemingly insurmountable challenges and came out on top.
Can't really hate on it, but I'm excited for that. I know Canelo is so big, so strong, and I think he'll be just too big. I mean, weight classes matter for him.
The stakes couldn't be greater because both fighters are known for their unwavering work ethic and will to succeed, and they have a lot to prove. Fans may anticipate nothing less than a full-scale conflict if the fight does take place. Canelo will have to figure out how to counter Crawford's speed and accuracy, while Crawford's flexibility and ability to change positions will be put to the ultimate test. How do you envision the fight unfolding? Please share your comments below and subscribe for more.